guys, how's it going? So today I am going to be sharing with you some books and poetry that I wrote when I was like between the ages of 7 and 9 years old, with the exception of one thing that I wrote when I was a little bit older, around 12 years old. So yeah, I used to write a lot when I was a kid, and I was in the French immersion program, so my English kind of took a back seat. It got worse and worse as time went on before I, kind of knew I really needed to fix it or I was going to have problems later on in life. I remember my dad and my grandmother were pretty worried about me. My grandmother was actually a teacher, and she would correct these books and these poems that I wrote. So you'll see some pen over top of some of the words, correcting them because my spelling was, like I'd said, atrocious because I was focusing so much on learning French at a young age. So yeah, let's begin. We're going to start with the poetry. I know I have a bunch more somewhere else, but this was the only one I was able to find in time for this video. So this is what it looks like. So this poem I wrote when I was 7 years old, and it's called Wonderfully Sad. I don't think that this poem had really a meaning to it. I think I was just putting a bunch of words together. So yeah, I won't do any more explaining. I'm just gonna start reading it. A little man watches the northern lights sparkle over the beautiful sky when a Japanese woman starts to cry. You can see the tear in her eye. She watches the sun shine through the glass, then fades away to heaven very fast. And I probably should have ended it there, but I continue. You can see the horrid banshee cry over by the riverside. You catch her with pride, wish the woman would not die, then she takes your life without a cry. So the cool thing about this is that I rhymed cry with cry. It's stylistic. You probably wouldn't get it. It's kind of advanced. I don't know if I have much to say about this one. I spelled banshee wrong, and banshee was actually the name of my dad and aunt's band when I was young, growing up. So I saw the word banshee, and I heard the word banshee a lot, but I still spelled it B-A-N-S-H-Y, which is... There's just no excuse. There's just no excuse. I'm sorry. Okay, so next is a book called A Lady of Her Ways, and I was 7 years old when I wrote this one. And there's a girl. I would say that it was supposed to be me, but I never had blonde hair. I think it is supposed to be me though, because I was the protagonist. This is me, and this is A Lady of Her Ways, whatever that means. I don't know where I heard that, but I thought it would make a good title for a book. Illustrations by Emma Chase, written by Emma Chase, and then this book belongs to... You know what? I'm going to write my name. This book belongs to me. It was never published. Why wasn't it published? I have no idea. I want everyone to greet someone's day for your assignment. You can't see that? There. That doesn't mean anything. Hey guys, let's greet her day. So, hey is spelled H-A-Y, like hay for horses. Again, greet her day doesn't mean anything. And this is a woman here, and she's singing, she's busking. That's her money there. And my friend said, okay, you. And then they pushed me into that lady. Sorry. So what happens is my friends pushed me into her. I love how the grass is here and you can see the dirt. I used to draw like the land like that. So this is a lady, and they pushed me, and her money bucket ended up on her head. Super rude. I don't know what friends I was hanging out with. Yes, dear, I am fine. And she's patting me on the head. After that, I followed her home with my best friend, who I knew wouldn't do what my other friends did to me. This is the picture. Oh my, the house is hiding, I said. And then I have this cool thing where I have the binoculars. And I see a tree, and I also see her like hidden house here, and that's me with the binoculars, and that's my friend. This is my best friend, and I had ripped this part out. I actually remember that I would, I'd write the name of the friend. I wrote the name of the friend that I had at that time, and then we'd get in an argument or something. Be like, oh, I don't want them to be in my book, and I'd scribble their name out and write someone else's. And I must have just gotten fed up with everybody because I actually ripped the part out. So I don't know who this was supposed to be in the end, but yeah. Okay, this is wordy. Sorry. Just gonna go for it. When I was walking home, I realized I forgot my binoculars. I said to my friend, we have to go back. So I ran back and I heard a scream. It was the lady. And right then and there, I figured out that lady was in danger. Here's where it gets a little controversial. Because there was a white man trying to shoot her. So, well, right now they're both white because I didn't bother to color anything in this picture. But, yeah, so obviously I'm making a very important statement about racism here, and that sometimes if you're not white, you have to go live in a tree for fear that someone is going to come shoot you for no reason. Again, don't know what kind of statement I was trying to make here, but all we know is that there's this racist man with a gun on the loose in my, in this book's fantasy world. Stop, I yell. The man pointed his gun at me. And the cool thing about that is that that's where the story ends. There's nothing else. Nothing else. So, it is safe to assume that I killed off myself in my own book at 7 years old. Just kidding. I definitely wouldn't have done that. I'm sure that I saved the day with my binoculars. Maybe I swung them and hit the guy over the head or something, and then went into the tree house for a cup of tea with the lady of her ways. Like, I don't know the man's intention for trying to shoot this woman, but I knew that I was making a statement about racism, and I think that's what, it's the thought that counts. I think that's really important. Good job, 7-year-old me. Okay. So the last thing is the story I wrote when I was older. 12 years old, I wrote this in 6th grade, and I entered it in an essay competition, and I got an honorable mention, which meant I got my story published in the newspaper. So, yeah, it's called Christmas in a Box, and maybe I'll read like a little snippet of it, but I'll explain first that it's basically about this girl, and her family's very wealthy, and she has it easy, and she hears about soldiers fighting. I didn't know where there were wars going on in the world, so I wrote Afghanistan. There are Canadian soldiers fighting in Afghanistan that wouldn't make it home for Christmas. She hears this on the news, and her family's like, oh, don't worry about it. But she goes to her bank account, she takes out all of her money, and she puts together what she calls Christmas in a Box. And that's, there's like cookies and stuff in there, and cards, and she sends them to the Canadian soldiers that won't make it home for Christmas. So I actually think it's like kind of a cute message, but yeah, I was pretty excited to have it published in the newspaper. Yeah, so basically there's this one part where she's arguing with her friend. So I'm going to read that, and then I'm going to read the letter that she sends in the box. Okay. Phoebe's friend Rachel was over. So I'm getting a whole new wardrobe for Christmas, Phoebe gloated. That's nice. Since my dad went to war, we haven't had much money, so my mom can only afford one gift for me and my brother, Rachel sighed. Phoebe gasped. Why can your mother only buy you one present? She asked, a quizzical look on her face. Because my dad is away at war and he makes next to nothing. My mom can't get a very good job because she's in a wheelchair, remember? Rachel's eyes filled with tears. Not everyone has both of their parents around, Rachel shouted and stormed out. Phoebe was perplexed. What had she said? So you'll be glad to know that Phoebe and Rachel don't reconcile within this story. Rachel's just kind of forgotten about after that part. So Phoebe has a change of heart after hearing this and after seeing the news. So she buys a box, puts a bunch of Christmas stuff in it, and sends it overseas with this letter. Dear Canadian soldiers, my name is Phoebe and I'm 12 years old. I always thought Christmas was about receiving. Well, I was very wrong. I realized Christmas is about love, family, and peace. I know you cannot have all of these things because you are constantly fighting for us to be free. This is why I am sending you these things. Thank you so much for what you have done and continue to be. continue to do, Phoebe. And that's it. There's me with my fluffy hair. Do I look all that different? Probably not. Those are some of the stories that I wrote when I was younger, kind of where I got my start with writing, and I hope you found them somewhat humorous. I'm going to look for some more, and hopefully I'll be able to find a few others to share with you guys. I hope you are all going into the new year with a positive attitude and great friends and family and a good support system. And I will see you in the next video. Catch you later, Christian Slaters.